We've all been there before, sitting in our room, wondering, where's our soulmate? Or at least, I have. Ever since I was a kid, I was the hopeless romantic, dreaming of the day Prince Charming comes and sweeps me off my feet. But 21 years later, here I am, still single, still waiting. Sometimes I start to wonder, does he actually exist? Why is it so hard to find love? Rice University Classics professor Scott McGill tells us why, according to Greek philosophers, we are always searching for this love.
Plato's Symposium. At a symposium, the speakers go around and they all describe in different ways what love is. One of the speakers is Aristophanes, who was an ancient Greek comic poet. His story is that originally all humans were kind of round balls. They were very kind of powerful and able round balls to the degree that they were able to challenge the Olympian gods. So what happens? What do the gods have to do? What does Zeus have to do? He has to strike those humans down and split them up into two genders. But we have a memory. We have some kind of atavistic primal memory of having been united. Even though our bodies are mortal, our souls aren't. So our souls always remember. And we spend our whole lives searching for our other half.
Sometimes it feels like Zeus might have vaporized my other half, because he's nowhere to be found. Where do I even look for him? I decided to ask one of my close friends' dad for advice. My friend's dad, Caesar Howe, is a financial advisor, author, and lecturer, who also teaches an online class on the art of communication and finding happiness. Growing up, I always really admired his relationship with his wife and wanted to find a love like theirs. So I took this chance to ask him, how did he approach pursuing love?
Chinese old saying say that 花热盛开蝴蝶自来. When the flower blooms, the butterfly comes itself. You don't need to pursue the girls. You have to attract the girls. You should make yourself good enough to just show up in front of her and let every other person say you are good. Let the girls see you good. That means attract. At that time, you don't have to pursue. In fact, you are pursuing.
Does science have the answer to love? I wonder if there's a scientific basis to compatibility. Rice University psychologist Professor Kirsten Westmoreland tells me that we can consider our attachment styles when choosing a partner. According to the attachment theory, two common types of insecure attachments are anxious and avoidant attachment styles. While anxious people seek constant connection, avoidant people shy away from social bonding.
When people that have avoidant and anxious attachments enter romantic relationships with each other, they form this sort of vicious cycle where the avoidant person is consistently turning down the romantic advances of the anxious person. And the more the avoidant person does that, the more the anxious person tries to build romantic bonds. And so it drives the two people away. So people that have really anxious attachment styles do best when they're in relationships with people who have a secure attachment style. Understanding our attachment style becomes really useful in figuring out how we can achieve these more secure relationships.
Dr. Westmoreland also tells me that empirical research has shown that certain personality traits lead to higher success rates at finding love, including extroversion, agreeableness, and conscientiousness.
Extroverts, for example, have a lot more romantic relationships because they are putting themselves in a lot more situations in which they could meet other people and form those kinds of bonds. That doesn't necessarily mean that there's a personality makeup that would cause you not to ever find love. Plenty of introverts are going to find long-lasting, valuable love as well. For introverts, the thing to know is that if you want to find love, you have to make yourself available to it. If you never leave your room or you never talk to people outside of your immediate family, then you're not going to magically find love one day. So you need to be somewhere where you could find love.
Dr. Westmoreland says we shouldn't change our personalities to be someone we're not, but we can build positive traits and possibly increase our chances at finding love. For one, we can become more conscientious. So, what's a small first step we can take?
You could make your bed. If you make your bed or you clean your room or you build some sort of routine, you'll feel more productive throughout the day. You'll start doing more of this thinking and planning. When it comes to a relationship, somebody who has these high levels of conscientiousness is also more likely to be able to schedule around that person and then manage how that person fits into their life.
So my next step to finding love is to make my bed.
Sure. If you want to think about it that way, yeah.
Okay, so I got making my bed down. Now, what do I do? I'm not Christian, but sometimes I wonder if God knows where my soulmate is. Last Sunday, I went to church for the first time to look for answers from God.
My name is Pastor Sang Chon. I'm the college pastor for New Life Fellowship of Houston, and our church is a Baptist church.
I asked Pastor Sang, does God choose who we love?
God gives people the ability to choose, this idea of free will, because if you don't have the ability to choose, then how can you have true love? If He mandated and He forced you to have a relationship, then everything's pre-programmed, and we would be robots.
Then what role does God play in our relationships?
He provides wisdom. Proverbs 3:5-7 is trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge Him, and He will make your path straight.
But why doesn't God put the right person in our lives? Why doesn't He put the right person in my life?
To be honest with you, why that happens, I'm not 100% sure. This life that we're living here is there's a term that we use often, it's called now but not yet. Our hope is the fact that God is taking us on this journey to the promised land. And this promised land is supposed to be kind of a earth rebooted. It's going to be without pain, without suffering, a place where things are not broken. Because clearly when you look at this world, things seem kind of broken. You kind of have this sense that this world is not 100% right. Our hope is that God is taking us on this journey to the promised land. And so we say that this world is now but not yet. There's good things in this world, but all the good things are not yet. And so somehow I think that for people who want to get married and they're not yet married, there's something in this space of now but not yet for them that God is doing in them to prepare them for something.
Other than God, who else can provide me wisdom? Buddha. A few days ago, I visited Chung Zen Temple in Houston to learn from Buddhism about finding love.
My name is Jian Tan. You may call me Jian Tan 师父.
Shifu, or master, is the current abbot of Chung Zen Temple. Shifu explained to me that Buddhists don't search for romantic love. Instead, they search for true love. You might ask, what's the difference? Shifu says that on one hand, romantic love is often based on personal needs and expectations. People focus on receiving love and care from their partner. On the other hand, Buddhists define true love as a selfless love. You love without expecting anything in return.
A lot of time, we love ourselves for 90%, love that person 10%. If we always love someone based on the self-centered views, this love will be in a very fragile foundation. When things change, any misunderstanding arise, the love could be challenged.
How can I tell if my love is true? Shifu told me there are questions you can ask yourself to know.
People could get old. People could get sick. People could be rich when that person is with you, but he could be poor. Would you still love that person? People could be wise, very intelligent in the very beginning, and then due to technology movement, he could be stupid because he could be out of date. If that's the case, would you still love that person? That'd be something we have to think about.
So, how do I find true love?
You offer your true love, then you'll find true love. You have to love others first.
And when both sides focus on loving instead of being loved, happiness comes naturally. So, how do you find love? Even now, I'm still not quite sure I've found the answer. But maybe finding love isn't about waiting. It's about doing. It's making my bed in the morning, becoming a better version of myself, and loving others 90%, not just 10%. Maybe instead of asking, how do I find my love, I should ask myself, how do I become the love I want to find? And then maybe, just maybe,